Drive it. Drive it. Go that way. We rolling now. Woo! Drive. You gotta drive. Keep your eyes on the road. Keep your eyes on the road. Drive. Women drivers over here. Keep their eyes on the road. All right, everybody, we are back out over here on the ditch job out here on the farm, and it is cold. It's a cold, cloudy Saturday. It's like 42 degrees and it's windy, and we got some ditches to work on today, but I'm working on some ditches right back over here, and the ones I was working on back over there just had some really kind of thin grassy stuff and some of that like tall, dry, kind of like tumbleweed looking stuff or whatever. I don't even know what that is, but it was real easy to cut. But these ditches back over here have got some little bit bigger material. It's got some of these water oaks on them that are really tough to cut because the wood fibers are really stringy and really kind of soft, so when you hit them they just kind of go all over the place, and if your blades aren't sharp they don't cut worth a crap. So I'm going to touch the blades up. When I was cutting that other stuff, you know, the blades didn't have to be that sharp to get that stuff cut. So but for this other stuff we need to sharpen the blade. So this is this side really hasn't been used at all, and you can see what this side looks like. So it's starting to get a little rounded. So we're going to just try to touch that up real quick with the angle grinder. So power cord, and which I do need to get a cordless one of these. I just haven't done it yet, but that will be coming soon. So let's get these touched up. Okay, so that should do pretty good right there. When you run these, the tips right here tend to round off because they take the most wear. So you're not going to be able to get that out completely. So you just kind of have to, you know, run your edge and kind of concentrate on this area right here, because this will usually kind of have a bulge in it right here typically, and this usually isn't too bad through here. So the main thing is just kind of clean up this, try to keep the same angle that you've got on this side. I guess that's about a 45-ish or so degree angle. Keep that on this side, you know, evenly throughout. You don't want to just grind this edge, because then you just start to blunt this down. So you have to take the whole thing up. And it doesn't have to be razor sharp. I found if I try to get them razor sharp, they just dull that much quicker. That edge just dulls quicker if you get them razor sharp. So as long as you've got a good edge there, and I'll kind of show you, as long as you've got a good, you know, it's kind of out of focus, but as long as you got a good edge there, that should work. And that's plenty good enough right there. And then I kind of clean this up right here. You're not really going to be able to get the point there where it's rounded. You're not really going to be able to get that out. So this is what's doing most of your cutting right here. But I usually clean this edge up too a little bit as well, up to about the middle. This part back here is not too worn. So that's pretty much all it is. I won't film doing the rest of them because it's pretty much the same process. None of them are real beat up too bad. I think that one's got a little nick in it right there, but nothing crazy. I'll take a look at this one. Yeah, it's not too bad either. So no real major nicks or gouges or anything like that. It's just kind of rounded. So we'll clean these up, and I've got some dirt work to do over here on this ditch. So I might just sharpen these up, and then we'll put the bucket on, and I'll explain kind of what we're going to do with the ditches. Okay, so here's what we got. Whenever they came and cleaned out these ditches a few years ago, they just kind of piled up a bunch of the stuff right here next to the ditch, and it's really bad on this side. So as I was cutting these, I realized these mounds here really, especially over there where they're really big, they really inhibit your ability to get down and cut the ditches. And then the mounds themselves are overgrown, and they're very hard to cut because they're kind of oblong. So you can only be on this side, so you have to cut one side, cut the top, and then come down and try to cut, you know, down into the ditch. And it also kind of keeps you from being able to reach down further into the ditch. And then if you're sitting on top of the piles or on one side, you're all kind of, you know, sitting wonky and stuff. So it's just kind of, these piles are kind of a pain to deal with next to these ditches when they get overgrown, and then having to deal with the ditch. So my suggestion to the client was we come through here and just kind of rake them out and knock them down, and you know, do a rough grade with the Mini, and then he can come along with his tractor with the box blade and just kind of smooth everything out. This stuff is so rich, you know, you can see the grass will grow right back on it, and it'll just smooth out the road in here a little bit. And then in the future, when you mow this through here, you can bring the tractor with the bush hog right along the, you know, almost to the edge here. Not quite to the edge, you don't want to do that, but you know, close enough so where you've got a nice flat surface and you just got a little bit of grass and overgrowth on the edge of the ditch, and then just the ditch itself, and you're not having to deal with these piles and everything. So he wants to kind of see what that looks like. So I'm going to just kind of knock these piles down and rough grade this out, and maybe we'll just take the tracks over it 1 or 2 times and just kind of compact it down, and then he'll take a look at it and see what he wants to do from there. But this is going to be sort of like a test thing for that, so which works out perfect because the machine just went into regen, and when it's regenning, I don't really like to cut brush with it because the exhaust temp is elevated and all that stuff. So you can still work with these when it's regenning. With the John Deere, I don't ever work with that thing when it's regenning. You know, if it starts regenning, I make sure it's got plenty of fuel in it. I turn the throttle all the way up, and I just let it do its thing. Usually takes about 20 minutes, and this one takes about 20 minutes too. So but you don't have to really turn the throttle up for that. So we're gonna see if we can't smooth this out really quick. Okay, so that's done, and it looks really good. I brought the tracks back through here and just kind of rolled it down, just so I could give the client sort of an impression of what this would look like once, you know, it kind of gets by. The easiest thing to do would be, you know, because we have so much of this to do, especially on that side, would be to just take a tractor and box blade this off and just kind of smooth it out after the Mini does the rough stuff. But this is kind of what it would look like, and man, this does look good. This ground is like a kind of like a clay kind of dirt that came out of this ditch, and it was a little tough to kind of break up a little bit there, but once you kind of broke it up, just moved around with the teeth a little bit, once I got, you know, the tracks over it, it actually graded out and kind of compacted down pretty well. So that looks really, really good. And I mean, on that other side of the road, that, you know, between the edge of the ditch and the tree line, if you took out that big mound, man, you've got a ton of usable space there. I mean, you could put a food plot through there just about, and the ground is, you know, really rich. There's probably some really good soil in those piles because it came out in the bottom of these ditches. So it's probably got it all, you know, and it's got all that vegetation on it. You mix it up, and you've got a really good bunch of soil there to grow just about anything. So, and the grass, I mean, the grass is just taking over out here, so it shouldn't take long for the grass to come back up through on that. We're just now hitting spring. You can see some of the stuff starting to turn green, so that should have grass on it in no time. But if we could take this and just knock all this down and get it smoothed out, I think it would look great. So hopefully he likes that. I think it looks awesome, and it should help, you know, everything drain a little bit better as well. So all right, well, that's done. Let's we got more ditches to cut, and we'll hook the cutter up and get to that. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. Sun came out for a little bit there, and then it clouded back over. So this is a good example of what I'm talking about with these dirt piles. Now, the one I did over there on the front side really wasn't that bad, you know, but that's what he wanted me to do so he could kind of take a look at it. But when they cleaned out these ditches, they just leave these piles here, and it creates two problems. One, it's very hard for the machine to kind of get through here nice and evenly. You know, you're going over these hills and the machine's all, you know, cattywampus, and it's just all over the place. It's not very stable, and even with the blade down, it's all just all over the place. You're also raised up, so you limit yourself being able to reach down to get down to the very bottom. I mean, these ditches are deep, and this slope is long going down in there, so you can't get down where you really need to be on some of those edges right there. I couldn't really get down there. Now, some of that was because that pine tree was in the way too, but the other problem is they're almost impossible to mow. Like, this is a good example here, and that'll show it to you. Is like, you've got all this stuff growing here. Well, when I bring the blade through here, even though I raise it up, the blades are going into the dirt, and I can't help that. There's nothing I can do about it. So, you know, you've got these big round, you know, oblong mounds here that have stuff growing all over them. It's almost impossible to mow them without putting your blades in the dirt and just gouging everything up. So it would be really nice, you know, in the future, it would make this so much more easier to do it. You know, if you could just come through here and knock these piles down, kind of grade them out, and it would just make it so much easier. So we'll see. I'd like to do that. I thought the front up there looked really good. So we shall see. Throw this stuff back over there. But the rest of this is cleaning up well. There's like intermittent piles through here. Like, there's a pile there, and then it flattens out right there, which isn't too bad. But then down there, you can see how tall it is. All that stuff's growing on these big mounds down here. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. I mean, you can just see how tall. Well, you can't really see them that well, but walk down here. This is kind of cool right here. This is the trail that the deer have been walking through here. You can see right down through here, and there's some fresh tracks in there. And they go right up there. You can see they've actually gouged a thing in the ditch right there where they've come through and walk right through here, and then they come out into this field and eat this grass. I first walked down here, I saw that turkey standing there. I thought it was a real turkey. I was like, what the hell? But yeah, you can see how tall these mounds are right here. And this is, I mean, it might be impossible for me to really get on top of these and get down and mow that ditch on this side. I mean, that mound is 3 feet tall right there. So I can mow the top of it, and there's stumps in there too. Like, there's a big stump sitting there on top of it. I mean, that's just a nightmare. So, and then, I mean, you can see how deep these ditches are right here. I mean, they're deep. Even if I was sitting right here on the edge and this was flat, I mean, that U55 would barely be reaching down to the bottom. So it would get it, but it would be a stretch. So you'd be maxed out on the arm length. So anyway, in the future, it just would make things a lot easier just to have those gone, knocked out. So anyway, all right, it's Saturday and I am heading home. I'm gonna spend my whole day tomorrow trying to knock out the rest of this grad school stuff. I'm about 39 pages deep, and I got about another 10 or 11 left to go. Almost there. Almost there. It's due 2 weeks from tomorrow. My rough draft is, and it goes through 2 weeks of revision. for my thesis advisor. So hopefully almost there. So all right guys, I hope you guys are having a great weekend wherever you are, and I'm out of here. I will catch you guys later.